YouTube, what's up? I'm Tim, and this is the NFL Final Score. So, before I get started, if I sound funny, it's because I'm sick, and I'm sorry about that one, but I'm sick. This is the NFL Final Score. As we said, a lot of good games. We'll get to a few topics after, but let me go through the games. Obviously, tonight the Saints play the 49ers on Monday Night Football. I'm taking the Saints in that one. But the Colts handled the Giants 38-14. The Texans came way back, won 30-27. The Redskins just couldn't get it done. That ice the kicker thing really worked there. The Jets beat the Patriots. Mark Sanchez threw the ball, and he was successful yesterday. I don't know what's wrong with him. That certain games he throws 20 picks, and then he can go out and throw 3 touchdowns, but he did it. Raiders beat the Rams. No surprise there. Both teams aren't very good, but the Rams are worse. Jaguars lost to the Chargers 38-13. The Chargers come out after a tough week 1. That's a good sign for Chargers fans, how they played. Broncos beat the Seahawks. I saw that game coming. I don't know why. I think the Seahawks played a bit over their head game 1. Kyle Orton had a pretty big game in this one, over 300 yards. The Steelers beat the Titans 19-11. I watched most of this game. It was just a boring game, and then at the end, it got real close. And then the Titans got the ball back with like 15 seconds. Bottom line was that Kerry Collins came in and relieved Vince Young. Who knows? The Packers beat the Bills 34-7. That was no competition from the first whistle. Bears beat the Cowboys. That's a surprise there. Bears are 2-0. Cowboys 0-2. Who would have saw that one coming? Another who would have saw that one coming. Buccaneers are 2-0 after beating the Panthers 20-7. While the Chiefs, another team I saw being 2-0, no, most people didn't, are 2-0 after a 16-14 win over the Browns. Dolphins beat the Vikings 14-10 on a game where really Brett Favre just played awful. That was the bottom line. He threw 3 picks, and he was looking more like the Brett the Jet than Brett the Viking. Falcons won 41-7 over the Cardinals. The Cardinals are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. Eagles just escaped over the Lions. Really, that game isn't as close as the score shows. The Eagles had that pretty much handled over the last 5 minutes, and Sean Hill came back and threw all right at the end and got the game close, but they didn't come back. Bengals win 15-10. Doesn't surprise me. I just don't think Joe Flacco can get it done right now. I don't know why, but he can't. Okay, let's get on to some of these big stories. There's a few I'll get to. First, I'm going to start with Brandon Jacobs reportedly is going to approach the Giants about asking for a trade. He's now number 2 to Ahmad Bradshaw, and it makes sense that he is not happy. I think the problem he's realizing, or the problem everyone else realizes that I guess he doesn't, is that he's past his prime. That run right through everyone's style can only work for a few years before it catches up with you. And I think it's caught up with him. And I think it caught up with him last year. Let's see what else is on tap for these stories today. I'm looking at FoxSports.com, and it said, will Favre even make it to Halloween? Vikes fall to 0-2. Look, I don't think this is going to be such a terrible, terrible year. I mean, I'm not panicking with the Vikings here. I think they'll be not as good as everyone thought they were going to be, but I told you that at the beginning of the season. Brett Favre's either going to figure it out or he's not, and I can't sit here and tell you it, because Brett Favre is one of the most impossible people in the world, the history of the world, to figure out what he's thinking. So it's hard for me to sit here and tell you I can figure out what he's thinking. But the biggest story's got to be Dallas Cowboys. The team that everyone thought was going to go to the Super Bowl, except me, is now to an 0-2 start. They're a mess right now. They are. And I look at this team, and I was talking to my one friend. She's a Cowboys fan. She said it's the coaching that sucks in the offensive line. But I got to put some blame on Tony Romo. I have not liked how he's played early in this season. And quite frankly, I look at him and think the exact same thing I thought about Donovan McNabb. He's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's ever going to win anything. I don't. And it took the Eagles and me included. I was a big McNabb supporter for a while. 11 years to figure out that he was never going to win anything, but he never could. And at some point, I think the Cowboys have to say to Tony Romo, look, you got to win us something or get us pretty far this year, or we're going to have to change a bunch of things, which might include your job. I think the Cowboys are just too much of a circus to be successful. I still think they'll win that division, no problem, because really, you look at it, the Eagles are a mess. The Redskins are good, but they still have a lot of problems there. And the Giants are just an okay team, and I don't think they're any better than that. They might win a wild card spot, they might not. But the thing with the Cowboys, I think they were just so overhyped coming into the season. I think their team's very good, but I think a lot of people are realizing that their offensive line isn't very good, or they'd be 1-1 because Alex Barron had that holding call. The Cowboys are going to be fine, at least based off what I thought. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I never did expect them to win the Super Bowl. So I'm not worried about what I thought about them. If the Cowboys go 11-5, I consider that a successful season for them, and I still think they can get to the second round of the playoffs, which is a step over what they did last year. Maybe not what they would have liked, only one step, but it is what it is. And I think the Cowboys were way overrated and way overhyped. And I think that's the bottom line. Find me on Twitter, CashKellyNAC, Facebook, CashKellyNAC Sports Report. Email me, CashKellyNAC@gmail.com. I'm Tim. I'm going to go take some aspirin or whatever the hell makes me better. I'll see ya.